नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Hare Krishna. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Narad's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva, text number 29 onwards. So now Narada Muni is telling Vyasadeva about his last life, and when he was a little boy, all these Bhaktivedanta sadhus had come to their house and he served them, and he got some Mahaprasad from them, and his life completely changed. So continuing with that, he says, Tasyavam me anuraktasya prashritasya hatayna saha shadadhanasya balasya dantasya anucharasya cha. I was very much attached to those sages. I was gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them. I had subjugated the senses, and I was strictly following them with body and mind. So this is what happens when we come in contact with pure devotees of the Lord. Narada Muni is saying, all my sins were eradicated in their service. I had subjugated the senses, means I had controlled my senses and was strictly following them, following those sages with body and mind. Prabhupada is writing, these are the necessary qualifications of a prospective candidate who can expect to be elevated to the position of a pure, unadulterated devotee. Such a candidate must always seek the association of pure devotees. So association is very, very, very important. And now association is also of two kinds. Prabhupada didn't mention in this purport, but other places he has mentioned. There is book Bhagavat and there is Purush Bhagavat. So there is a person devotee and there is a book devotee. If we can associate with the person devotee, very well, very good. But for some reason, if there is no person available at that time or around us, then we associate with book Bhagavat. So through the books written by Srila Prabhupada, if we read them every day nicely, we are associating with Prabhupada. So this point is very, very important. Generally, when we go in the association of devotees, well, what happens? We can just associate for a while, not for 24 hours. It's not possible. And moreover, when we go in contact or in company of a devotee, we try to give them our association. Meaning, instead of hearing from them about how I can make progress in spiritual life, what is best for me in spiritual life, we try to tell them what I am going through, what material problems I have, what is the solution for that. And everybody has material problems and so many problems. It's unaccountable for. So many problems are there with everybody. But instead of learning from them, see, Narada Muni here, he did not tell these sages what problems he is facing living in the house. It's a poor house, I don't have anything to eat, my mother works all day, I have to take care of the cows or whatever. He didn't discuss all this. Shukdev Goswami, when met with Parikshit Maharaj didn't discuss, oh Maharaj, I got this cursed by the sage, I didn't do anything, why did he curse me and I had to leave my kingdom and this. No. He wanted association of Shukdev Goswami. So he asked pertinent questions. What is beneficial for him? What was beneficial for him? Parikshit Maharaj, ultimate benefit, please tell me that. He says, that's what he says. Arjun, Arjun, when he was asking questions to Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning, look at his questions. He was like, how can I kill my relatives? How can I kill Bhishma? How can I kill Drona? I'll be sinful. I'll not be happy. I. And Krishna didn't speak anything. When Arjun surrendered and he asked Krishna, tell me what is the ultimate beneficial thing for me. Then Krishna started speaking. When Arjun surrendered to Krishna, that now I am your disciple, you're my spiritual master, please guide me. I'm completely confused. Afterwards, Krishna started speaking because he knew now this person is ready to take my association. So association is very important, but more important is how do we avail ourselves of that association, of that time? Because sadhus or devotees, they cannot give us 24 hours a day, every day. It's not possible. It's not practical also. So we have to make best use of whatever time we get. But at the same time, we should associate with Srila Prabhupada through his books. That we can do 24 hours. Obviously, not 24 hours practically, but any time of the day we can do that. And we should do that. Because once a philosophy is clear in our heads, then we will not deviate. And even if some distraction, deviation, some obstacle is there, we will overcome it very soon, very fast. But if we are only sentimentally associating with the devotee, thinking, oh, he will just hold my hand and pull me through, not gonna happen. It is not gonna happen. Look at everybody who associated with the spiritual masters. Narada Muni, 5-year-old boy, he will tell he associated with only 4 months with the devotees, only for 4 months. Of course, in those 4 months, he served them so nicely. He got everything that he needed. And then he was on his own. For the rest of his life, he never met any other devotee. He never associated. He was doing his own tapasya. How long Dhruv Maharaj met Narada Muni for? Not for too long. Narada Muni came, gave him instructions, went away. Krishna and Arjun, of course, Arjun was constantly associating with Krishna, but when the question and answers were there, it was only for 40-45 minutes. How long Parikshit Maharaj met Shukdev Goswami? 1 week, that's it. Of course, Parikshit Maharaj was very fortunate. Just after meeting him, he went back to spiritual world. But it's not going to happen with everybody all the time. So we have to understand, whatever little bit movement, little bit time we can spend with pure devotees, whatever association we can get, we should treasure it as the most important thing in our lives. We should take it really seriously. Take it up seriously, that association, the instructions that we can get, instead of asking them or telling our material problems. We should get the instructions, and throughout our life, we should hold on to those instructions. And moreover, Prabhupada's instructions are available through his books, anytime, all the time. And nowadays, we have MP3 files also. We can listen to lectures or other like videos are there. We can watch them. Other ways are there. But the books are very, very important because Srila Prabhupada has given everything in his books. So we should make a habit of reading his books every day. Whatever time we can spend, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever time, we should make a habit, because this is our association with Srila Prabhupada, with the pure devotee of the Lord. Very important. So Prabhupada is saying, such a candidate must always seek the association of pure devotees. One should not be misled by a pseudo-devotee. He himself must be plain and gentle to receive the instructions of such a pure devotee. A pure devotee is completely surrendered soul unto the personality of Godhead. He knows the personality of Godhead as a supreme proprietor and all others as his servitors. And by the association of pure devotees only, one can get rid of all sins accumulated by mundane association. So all sins accumulated by mundane association means by mundane association or associating with people in acting materially, we tend to develop their qualities. We tend to develop whatever desires they have, whatever inclinations they have, whatever thought process they have. We tend to develop that. But somebody will say, Prabhuji, we work in the office. We have to meet our neighbors, our relatives. What to do? What to do is we don't associate with them. We go in the company, great, fine. Association means once we get influenced by them, influenced by their thought process, influenced by their desires, influenced by their viewpoints, influenced by their consciousness. So for that, so we don't get influenced by them. So for that, first of all, we have to be, what do we say, immunized. So every morning when we get up, we chant our rounds, we read purpose books every day. So we immunize ourselves against the onslaughts of every other thought process or every other material uh, whatever infection. When we immunize ourselves, then we don't associate with them. Okay, they are in the company, we have to do our duties, we have to do our job, great, we do that. But we don't associate. We try to rather give our association to them. We rather give our thought process. We try to bring them into the process of bhakti. That is the right way of association. So for us to be protected, we have to be very careful. A neophyte devotee must faithfully serve the pure devotee, and he should be very much obedient and strictly follow the instructions. These are the signs of a devotee who is determined to achieve success even in the existing duration of life. So we have to be determined. So we have to be very careful. That's all. Text 30. Jnanam guyatamam yatat sakshat bhagavatotigam anbhavochan gamishyantah kripyadin vatsalaha. As they were leaving, those Bhakti Vedantas, who were very kind to poor-hearted souls, instructed me in that most confidential subject, which is instructed by the personality of Godhead himself. A pure Vedantist or a Bhakti Vedanta instructs followers exactly according to the instructions of the Lord himself. So this is another quality of a pure devotee. He will not say anything what he speculates of or anything that he thinks is important or not. He will exactly say whatever the instructions of the Lord are. Just like Srila Prabhupada, when he went to the West and he became very, very successful, so many followers, but he never deviated from what Krishna says in Gita. He always said, Krishna says, Sarv Dharman Parite Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. He always told everybody, you just surrender unto Krishna and take shelter of him. That's it. He never said, you take shelter of me, you give me money and I'll be very rich and I'll liberate you all. Never said anything like that. So this is a sign of a pure devotee. The personality of Godhead, both in Bhagavad Gita and in different scriptures, has definitely instructed men to follow the Lord only. The Lord is a creator, maintainer, and annihilator of everything. The whole manifested creation is existing by His will. And by His will, when the whole show is finished, He will remain in His eternal abode with all His paraphernalia. He is transcendental, and He imparted the instruction to Arjuna. The same was instructed to Sun God, and in course of time, the same instruction was again given to Arjuna. So instruction of Lord can be understood by devotee only and no one else. So this is very important. I'm not going to go through the whole purport. So this is, but when knowledge is turned, okay. So in the words, the word comes most confidential knowledge. The expression most confidential is significant here because knowledge of devotional service is far, far above the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Jnana means ordinary knowledge or any branch of knowledge. This knowledge develops up to the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Above this, when it is partially mixed with devotion, such knowledge develops to knowledge of Paramatma. This is more confidential, but when such knowledge is turned into pure devotional service and the confidential part of transcendental knowledge is attained, it's called most confidential knowledge. So there is confidential, there is more confidential, and there is most confidential knowledge. Prabhupada also explained that in Bhagavad Gita. So more confidential knowledge, actually here Prabhupada is talking about Brahman, but which is actually true. Confidential knowledge is knowledge of the soul. That we are not this body, we are spirit souls. But that knowledge takes only one up to the level of Brahman or Brahmjyoti. Then more confidential knowledge is when one understands there is Paramatma sitting in everybody's heart and one should concentrate on Paramatma. Some bhakti has to be there. So that is more confidential. And most confidential knowledge is when one understands I am part and parcel of Krishna and my job is to serve Krishna with full love and devotion. So that is most confidential knowledge. And this is the knowledge that Bhakti Vedantas gave to Narada Muni. Because in the shloka, this word comes, Jnanam Guyatamam. Guyatamam means most confidential knowledge. This is what they gave to Narada Muni. Yenaivaham bhagavato vasudevasya vedhasa mayanubhavam vidam yena gachanti tat padam. By that confidential knowledge, I could understand clearly the influence of energy of Lord Shri Krishna, the creator, maintainer and annihilator of everything. By knowing that, one can return to him and personally meet him. So this is the realization of Narada Muni. He is saying, by that confidential knowledge of pure devotional service, I could understand clearly the influence of energy of Lord Shri Krishna. So influence of Maya and influence of spiritual energy. He could clearly understand, clearly see. Means, this is what Prabhupada is writing, by devotional service or by the most confidential knowledge, one can understand very easily how the different energies of the Lord are working. One who is in ignorance, one who is in completely under Maya, he cannot understand how the energies are working. He understands or he thinks that I am the controller, I am the proprietor, and I am the enjoyer in this material world. But one who's engaged in devotional service, he understands I'm not the controller, I'm not the proprietor, I'm not the enjoyer. I'm just a servant of, not even servant of Krishna, I'm servant of Krishna. This is the real crux of the whole knowledge. One part of its energy is manifesting the material world, the other superior part of its energy is manifesting the spiritual world. And his intermediate energy is manifesting the living entities or serving either of the above mentioned energies. The living entities serving material energy are struggling hard for existence. And the happiness which is presented to them as is illusory. But those in the spiritual energy are placed under the direct service of the Lord in eternal life, complete knowledge, and perpetual bliss. The Lord desires, as he has directly said in the Bhagavad Gita, that all conditioned souls rotting in the kingdom of material energy come back to him by giving up all engagements in the material world. This is the most confidential part of knowledge. But this can be understood only by the pure devotees, and only such devotees enter the kingdom of God to see him personally and serve him personally. So this is a culmination of pure devotional service, so most confidential knowledge, that the devotees enter the kingdom of God to see Him and to serve Him personally, lovingly, devotedly, determinedly. That is more important. And so a devotee only, he can see, one who is in pure devotional service, he can see who am I, why I'm suffering here, why I'm wasting my time here, and who is Krishna, how does the spiritual world look like, what is the activities of the spiritual energy, and I would be happy on the over there. That's what Prabhupada writes. Eternal life, complete knowledge, perpetual bliss. We are eternal, soul is eternal, but since we are in this material body, which is not eternal, which is only temporary, and we think serving this body or serving the dictates of the senses of this body is my goal of life, that is ignorance. And that can be removed only by the mercy of devotees and only when we engage ourselves in the devotion service of the Lord. And it has to be removed because we are not this body. We are trying to be happy here in the material world. We cannot be. It doesn't mean we don't work. We work. Everybody works. Nobody can remain without work even for a second. But we have to work with the right consciousness that this is not where I want to be. I'm where I should be. I'm here, fine. Let's make the best use of bad bargain. But let's try to get out of it. So that part we have to understand and it has to be clear in our hearts that I want to perform devotion service and I want to get out of here. But as long as I'm here, I have to do my duties properly. No doubt, we have to do our duties. These duties are given by Krishna himself, according to our previous karmas. So we cannot run away from the duties, but in our heart, we have to continue to perform bhakti, to continue to pray to Krishna, continue to develop this strong desire to see Him, to serve Him, to be with Him. And that's all. And that can only happen in the association of pure devotees and in the association when we perform devotion service. It can only happen there. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Yesham satatyuktanam bhajtam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. Those who are serving me constantly, satat means constantly, serving me with love and devotion, I give them the knowledge by which they come to me. So only by our devotion service, we are not going to go back. It's by our devotion service, Krishna gets pleased, He gives us mercy, by that we'll go back. But regardless, we have to constantly try to serve Him with love and devotion. That's all. In the beginning stages, it's not constant. Yes, mind is very tricky. So it will take us here and there. Okay, then whatever we can do, whatever time we can spend in chanting, in reading, in performing other activities, we should try to do that. And try to do that wholeheartedly. That's all. Once of the taste, when we start getting pleasure in performing these activities, we'll try to increase. So automatically Krishna will help us making more progress. Some tests definitely will be there, but we don't worry about the tests because when the tests are there, Krishna will help or Krishna's devotees will come and help us out. We have to have that faith. Tests will be there. That is to make sure that we are graduating, we are making progress further. But regardless, and once we read Narada Muni's further experiences, we'll see how many tests he went through. Plenty of tests he had to go through. And he had every reason, while undergoing those tests, he had every reason to quit but he did not quit. He kept going. So that is also very important. We have to be determined. We have to be focused. So it's 8:56. Should I stop and ask for any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm just trying to repeat once again, as you have said that there will be three types of knowledge. One is confidential, and one will be more confidential, and then most confidential. So the confidential will be knowledge of the soul. So knowledge of the soul means, like you said, we are not this body. This is the realization we should have in the beginning, right? Okay. So more confidential is like there is, you said, Paramatma sitting. So like we know that Krishna is sitting, so we have to meditate or we have to chant. So that is the meaning you mean to say?
Well, here in the purport, Prabhupada writes, more confidential knowledge. Where did it go? When this knowledge that I'm not this body but the spirit soul, when it is partially mixed with devotion, such knowledge develops to knowledge of Paramatma or the all-pervading Godhead. This is more confidential. So some devotion is there, partial devotion, not full devotion, or pure devotional service. So that is the knowledge of Paramatma and our relationship with Paramatma.
Okay.
So that is more confidential.
Okay. So at the last, like after practicing all the previous realization, then we will fall into that last category, like most confidential knowledge, where like we are trying to we will try to understand that I am the part and partial of Lord Krishna.
Of engaging in pure devotion service. See, one understanding that, okay, Paramatma is there, Brahmajyoti is there, great, but we are servants of Krishna. Although we are not performing pure devotion service right now, but at least we are on that path.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Manta.
I have one silly question. Please forgive me for that. But
You want a silly answer?
no, my question is silly, but I'm sure your answer would be, beneficial for me. So my question is, Prabhuji, when you were saying that we should associate with, we should take seriously the sadhu sangha. Like when a sadhu or a devotee, give his association to you, we should ask most important questions rather than discussing our personal problems or material problems. So what I have understood is like we are wasting the precious time which these devotees are giving to us. But what about the problems what we are facing materially? Then in that case we should not discuss it, those problems, and if we will ask the important questions and we'll take the most important knowledge from them, then these problems and these miseries will automatically go away.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What? Ashok Variku Prabhu, you're commenting or
I'm
just
commenting.
by
Yes,
mistake?
Prabhuji, this happens. I'm just trying to salvage this situation. It does happen. It does happen. When you are in devotional service, your miseries and get mitigated. Your problems and remain no longer a problem.
Thank you, Prabhuji. See, Prabhuji has so much of realizations. It's wonderful. To coming back to Mataji's question, it's simple. Just like suppose if Srila Prabhupada is here, will we go and Prabhupada, uh, Ashok Prabhu's to turn off your mic actually. It's making lots of noise. Then will we go and tell Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I have this problem, my child is not studying properly, my husband is not listening to me, or those things, or we will ask, Prabhupada, please tell me how I can make more progress, how can I serve you though? So obviously, but at the same time, many devotees are there who can help us as like counselors, who can help us make more progress, where we can discuss our personal things, confidential things, hoping they keep it confidential, they don't put it on Facebook or WhatsApp right away, and who can guide us maturely. So some devotees are there who can take care, who can help us. But when we meet very senior, very advanced devotee, our nature of questions should be how I can make progress in bhakti. With Ashok Prabhu, yes, the problems will go down or our threshold will increase to face those problems or to deal with those problems. Our threshold definitely will increase. Patience, humility, everything will be there. Tolerance will be there. Forgiveness will be there. But at the same time, we have to try to cultivate those qualities also. That's why I say every evening before going to bed, sit down and reflect upon, make a balance sheet of the whole day. What did I do? And did I do that right? Did I do that wrong? What did I say? I could have said anything differently or not. We can reflect. And Krishna is sitting in the heart. He will also help. He'll definitely help. When we are sincere, he will help. Of course, when we are not sincere, he will help that way also to make us non-sincere. But if you are sincerely asking him, he will help. So everything works. It's just how we approach it. Is it okay? Vanda Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. So I guess we can stop here. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Studying, reading Bhagavatam, following the instructions of Bhagavatam. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much.